Hello everyone and welcome to SuttonsDaze. There is a very frequent question around here that I get asked all the time, and so I thought I would address this because someone recently commented on an old video on this topic and asked me if my stance had changed regarding electric pressure canners. And I can guarantee you I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. And I know that a lot of people are, I know the valid reasons why people want them to work, okay? I know that, they want smaller batches. 16-quart Presto, you only have to do 4 jars, so I don't know what that issue is. But the number one reason that I hear people want it is because it's a set it and forget it, okay? They put it together and then they walk away and do 12 other things. I have a very firm stance that if you don't want to be active in your food preservation, that maybe it's not for you, okay? I do know that for a lot of our viewers, age, they find it more comfortable with the smaller batch with the electric pressure canner. I hear you. I do. I hear all your reasons why you want it to work. And so I'm going to, one, share my opinion on it, and two, I'm going to share a conversation that I had about it just this morning, because I spent some time trying to get a hold of somebody at Presto to have a conversation with me, and it kind of all folds in together. Again, I'm not going to validate your purchase or your thought of purchasing. I'm going to tell you my stance on these. Electric pressure canners came on the market, I want to say back in 2019, possibly late 18. And they were from companies that I don't necessarily associate with pressure canning. So I wouldn't drive a car that Hoover made, because they're known for vacuums, not cars. And I wouldn't necessarily vacuum my floor with something made by Ford, okay? So I'm particular about what brands I use, and this was a big factor. The second factor is that I do not believe, I still don't believe, that the accuracy and longevity of an electric pressure canner can be trusted. If you have a cell phone, down to $1 says you do, okay? You know that these have to be replaced every couple, 2, 3, 4 years because they start failing, because electronics don't last a very long time, because it depends on how they're used. It depends on, on any number of factors as to what can cause them to not act the way that they should. So my question when I called Presto and finally got somebody to talk to me was, how do you gauge the accuracy after an extended period of time? 1, 2, 3 years. How do you check, just the same way that you do with your manual pressure canners, your All-American or your Prestos? There are things in place, like the gauge, to ensure that you're getting the proper pressure for the proper amount of time, okay, to kill any microorganisms in your food. So if I have a Presto, say, we're just going to stick with Presto. If I have a Presto, I know that I can negate any reading on my gauge by using the weighted regulator, and that will hold the proper pressure for tested approved recipes. So how can I test an electric pressure canner? How will I know that it's holding the proper temperature, the proper pressure during a canning process for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, okay? And each time I talk to the receptionist that answered the phone, she goes, "That's a really good question." I said, "Thank you, I think so too." Well, hold on. So I had voicemail, and then I, got somebody to talk to me. Here's what I was told, because she didn't even let me go, okay? She asked somebody who was next to her. So they are saying that the way that we know that the electric pressure canner is accurate is that it will give you a reading if it's not. It will give you an error reading if it's not. I said, so similar to how an Instant Pot will tell you if something's burning if you don't put liquid in it? She goes, yep, exactly. So for anybody that has an Instant Pot, you know that it'll tell you, it'll say burn on the panel. I've done that a time or two. But I said, so that is the only way to know, that's the only way it tells you if things are not right. Yep, it'll show you an error message. So there's no way to test how accurate the pressure is on this. It'll just tell you. Okay. Okay. And how long have you been making these, particularly the Presto Precise digital pressure canner? And she said since 2020. 2 years. Okay. So 2 years in my mind does not equal enough testing, longevity-wise, accuracy, longevity-wise, for me to trust it to preserve my foods. Don't come at me, folks. I know all the reasons. You've told me a million times, okay? But I'm answering a question, and I'm letting you know my stance on these. So if you're looking to spend, how much was it? It was $330 for something that basically cans like 4 jars, I think, 4 or 5 jars. That's electric, that you can walk away and do your laundry. Okay. I no sooner edited this video, put it together, uploaded it, and I received an email from Barb at Presto. And so I'm going to share that with you guys here, because I want you to know, okay? So she says, "Hello, Lisa. Thank you for contacting Presto with your question about the Presto Precise digital canner. I have attached an informative document detailing how the canner was developed and how it operates by reaching and maintaining USDA established temperatures for safe food preservation. Measuring temperature of the canner environment is more precise than measuring pressure, as with a traditional stovetop canner. Extensive testing went into the development of this technology, and we continue to test this product. Numerous safeguards are built into the digital canner and proprietary software, and user will be alerted by means of an error code. There will be an error code even if a problem is due to user error. Thanks again for your interest." Okay, so the document, the PDF that she sent me, I will link down below so that you can read it also. I'm just going to do a real quick summary of it. The Presto Precise Digital Pressure Canner is the first electric pressure canner to meet the USDA home canning guidelines for safely processing meats, poultry, fish, vegetables, and other low-acid foods. While the USDA and the National Center for Home Food Preservation provide guidelines for home canning, neither agency certifies nor approves home canning equipment. Meeting their guidelines is key to safe canning. All Presto canners, including our digital canner, meet those guidelines, and our digital model is the first electric unit on the market to do so. Like I said, don't buy a Hoover to drive, and don't buy a Ford to vacuum, okay? So they go on to explain, a few more things, and it's a good email. It's a good email. It's a good answer. It does not change my stance, though. It doesn't. But I'll let you make your own decision. I am not, honestly, I don't have $330 to throw at something that is going to be a doorstop eventually. So until much more testing, much more trial and error out there. So while everyone is out there testing this for them, okay, I'm not going to spend my money on that. I'm going to use the regular canner. That's my stance. No. You have to be an active participant in your food preservation. You have to be. You have to be an active participant to make sure that it's going correctly, that it's done correctly, that it's accurate, and that you're not going to play Russian roulette with your family or yourself with their food. I guess if accuracy and safety is not a priority, then, that's great. So for theoretically 6 months to a year, definitely. But for $330, I can buy 2 23-quart Presto pressure canners. But Lisa, when you fill them with water, they're heavy. That's why I don't do an All-American. I know. I have a bad wrist. I am perfectly well aware of this, okay? There's still a safety concern. And there's still a concern because our electrical grid is garbage. And if and when the grid goes down, that electric pressure canner is no better than a doorstop. But I will still be able to can with my Prestos and with my All-Americans. you will not be able to do anything with a digital pressure canner. You won't. It'll be useless. I'm big on progress, okay? I do everything on my phone. I do everything on my phone. My calendar's on my phone. My contacts are on my phone. I check out my social media on my phone. I communicate with a lot of you via email on my phone. Would I trust my phone to properly pressure can my food? No. No, I wouldn't. I'll use the timer on it, but that's about it. Because I know that after a certain amount of time, apps start going wrong, electronics start going bad. They don't make anything for longevity anymore, especially if it's electronic. It's not made for longevity. It's made for instant gratification. It's made for easy access at a higher price, at a much higher price, actually. If you're worried about your stove not being able to handle a canner, a normal canner, contact your manufacturer. It's just that simple. Ask them whether or not your stove can handle a pressure canner. They may have, you can use a small one, not the big one. They'll know. They'll know exactly what you're talking about. So call them if you have that question. If you cannot replace your stove, there are burners out there that a lot of people use. Induction burners. Presto has an induction canner. It's only like $20 or $30 more than the normal canner. There are different methods and different ways to be able to pull this off without using your kitchen stove, if that's a factor. I still don't believe, to answer the question, that electric pressure canners are safe for long term. Now, if you are made of money and have it to throw around and you want to play with it, that's fine. You do you. I always say that. You do what's best for you. You do what you think is best for you. But for me and mine, in this instance, I am going to stay relatively old school because it works. Because I can check to see when things are not working the way they are supposed to, and I can fix it or make adjustments to it if things are not working the way they're supposed to. I cannot fix an electric pressure canner. I don't even open the panel of my computer, you guys, and I use it all the time. So unless you're really big into electronics and you have some kind of know-how about this, there's no way to fix it, okay? You're just out $330 for the time being, where you can get a manual one for the same price, or two of them if you're doing a Presto. So that is my answer to the question, what do I think about these? No, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to validate your purchase. No, I'm not going to validate any of your thoughts regarding this because it's a personal decision. It's all yours. It's a personal decision. It's all mine, okay? I cannot help answer questions about what went wrong, what happened if you're using an electric pressure canner, because it's not the same. It's just not the same. And so I'm really of little and no help there. I highly recommend checking out the 16-quart Presto pressure canner or the 23-quart or an All-American. If you've got $330 to spend, you can afford an All-American, and that can pretty much be used all the time, no matter what, right? No gaskets needed, no anything. That's the reason I've got them. They're heavier than heck, but in an emergency situation, I'm going to have those bad boys working hard. They're going to be earning their keep because I know I can use them on the propane burner, and that to me is important. So if you have any questions, toss them down below. But I will also include the link to gopresto.com, and from there you can contact them yourself with any questions you might have about an electric pressure canner. For me, it's testing and longevity. Longevity is everything because I don't need a $330 doorstop. I really don't. I figure enough stuff's going to be useless when and if the power goes down. I don't need a canner to do the same thing. That's when I need canners that I can work and I can trust. And that's what I have. Okay, everybody. That's my 2 cents for today on electric pressure canners. I hope this answered your question. When you come at me, which you're going to, I don't care who said they approved it. I don't care what their prior occupation was. I don't care about any of that, okay? I have no skin in this game. I have no skin in this game. I'm answering a question that somebody asked me, and I'm telling you why I believe the way that I do. Until next time, everybody, be safe.